down. It says starting. Okay, now we are on air live at the August 12th BetaSaaSers huge meeting with just me and Janet. You're in, what is the state you're in? Is it Iowa?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was trying to remember. It's like, I said, showing my sort of East Coast bias. It's like somewhere.
Somewhere west.
Right.
We're in Central Time here. It's 11 a.m.
Yeah. So for me, this is my last week of freedom, which is basically ended because I'm, I have to like really buckle down and get things ready. My classes start next week.
Okay.
What Sam told me is that, remember how a few weeks ago he's saying, okay, these Spoks are just like temporary until the latest updates come, and then he'll make real instances. I'll double check his email, but I'm about 95% sure that what he said is like, this is what it is, and just go with.
Okay, yeah, it would be great if you would double check that, because I'm at about to a point where I feel like I need to start making the revisions I want to make. Hi, Paul.
Yeah, I'm going to double check that now. Just as we see, because that's important. So, hi, Richard Spock.
Hello.
Rose, feel free to talk while I'm checking this.
So Paul.
Yes. So I'm just repeating what he said.
Okay.
From Sam. I don't think I will make any more changes to the current Spock before your class starts. Yours is here. So that's why it's like a little bit qualified, for me, because I'm starting so early.
Right.
When do you start?
I start August 28th.
Okay.
Although I see the week 0 stuff, and I'm feeling antsy to make a pre-semester assignment of things like, install the VM on your laptop and do the Git tutorial and things like that.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in to the Spock and hide like most everything except the initial stuff.
Okay.
And hiding it, in my experience, if you find a way, let me know. But hiding it, in my experience, is not all that easy. In other words, you can just click, 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 and say hide all. I sort of recall having to go to each one and move the release date like out to
into the future,
into the distant future, and doing that for each one of the big sections. So it takes a few minutes, and then I'll do some editing just to make the preliminary stuff, there and available. And if anything, so that way, in some ways, if he's making some, like recreating a new Spock, it won't be great for me, but, I'll just have to have students, enroll in this other link. We'll see how that goes. And the other things, I don't know how it works for you. By the way, hi, Paul. If you're there.
Howdy.
The other thing that happens at my college, and I assume yours, is there's like an add date.
Yep.
That is later than the initial first class start date.
Indeed, there is.
Yeah, you want to be like, get everything going before class and all that. But the reality is, I take that sort of first week plus as just like what you're saying. Start reading, start looking at things, try downloading and setting up the VM, and that'll be good to keep things busy, even if keep them busy for a week while new people.
That's fair enough.
The other thing that my recollection is I have people do, and I'll have to look, is a Codecademy. And that's something that you can just assign and say, hey, start on this, get as far as you can, and that doesn't take like any kind of setup or work.
Nope, not at all. No, in fact, I did that while I was working through the MOOC, and I mean, even as an experienced programmer, it took me a good 4 hours, but I think it was 4 hours well spent.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, for someone, unless someone is good at, I wound up just picking things up as I needed.
Right.
Just like doing searching and so forth. But I think that will help them and gives, what that does is some of the initial, like, when I started the course, it was homework 1 with the palindromes, and there were even some trickier exercises that we've removed. And so it was somewhat on my instigation that I included a homework 0 for my students that wound up going into the MOOC. And that homework 0 was barely mine. It was an assignment that Berkeley did just as a just a little like session, like in class kind of exercise. So rather than it just being like a paper and pencil thing, I just made it an official assignment just to start them off with something a little bit easier.
Yeah, I like that. I also just worked through the Oracle of Bacon assignment, and I've seen that elsewhere referred to as homework 1.5. And it does seem like that doesn't require a whole lot of Rails. It does kind of fit in with learning about software as a service. Have you used the Oracle of Bacon assignment in your class? Okay.
I'm pretty sure I didn't. What happened is, I saw that was there for the first time last semester. Berkeley had put it in. And I looked at it and I was like, I wasn't so sure. And I usually take, sort of Sam's advice on this. And he said, for my students, I didn't really see it adding value. I'll double check it again, but I don't remember. Was that the one that had some of the not Rails? It had some other technology, right?
It's not Rails. It does involve making HTTP requests and interacting with XML data.
Yeah, right.
It has a validator too, right?
Yeah, it does. That's the one Railsy thing, is it has a validator.
Okay. So I don't think I used that, and I just did do Codecademy, do homework 0, and then we got into homework 1, and then people still get their VM set up and all that stuff. And then at some point we did a Git tutorial, which I think I want to find a different one to get them a little bit more familiar with that.
Do you have a different Git tutorial in mind?
Not in mind, but probably somewhere in the papers and emails. The Git tutorial we use, which I'll use as a backup, whatever that was, and you can see I'm in summer mode, so nothing is coming to mind. Hi, Janet. We have 2 Janets, so we
Hi, Janet.
Hi. I'm working from home and my internet is very unreliable, so I may just vanish, but I figured I'd give it a shot. It seemed to be better today than yesterday.
Yeah, things are looking good. And what I described is I described last week's meeting as introducing you and trying to, I think Rose said possibly some scary stuff. Back off from that. And I don't know. Maybe we have to go with last names or something. But the Iowa Janet, worked through the exercises and what she was saying. She found things, sort of challenging, and it would have been helpful to have classroom kind of support, which is what we're going to be providing the students if they want to take advantage of it. So anyway, I just walked in the door, so I'm not particularly prepared. I don't even know. Did anyone check? Is there an agenda agenda page? I didn't create one. Sam, I created one the first year. First meeting, and Sam created it last week, and I wasn't expecting to be cutting it so close today. So.
Well, I have a couple of questions about kind of Spock versus the classroom things, if we don't have any other agenda.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess there's one concrete question and more kind of conversation topic. So the concrete question is, do you use the online quizzes in your class, or do you do in-class exams?
I do in-class exams. So there are online quizzes which I'm guessing are equivalent to the quizzes in the, in the MOOC.
Yeah, I assume so. Yeah, I did them. They're multiple choice quizzes. They're not easy. They're tricky.
Right. Right. What happened?
I'd like to know what the right answers are for some of the questions.
Exactly. So I don't use them. I have what I, you know what I think I did for the first one? I adapted like the MOOC first quiz, and I sort of, printed it out, and I administered it in class for like a, a half an hour kind of quiz.
Okay.
And I did that like twice during the semester, and then one more for a final exam. And I took those questions, and I'm trying to water them down and make them, like, especially the Ruby stuff, less tricky. I did that. I did that last year a little bit, and I'll try and do it again this year. So I want to, my goal in this class, I also teach a discrete math class.
Okay.
That is like, real substance, real tools and techniques, and a theory of knowledge that's, hundreds, if not more, years old. So I feel I can really say, here's what we're learning, and this is what we're going to test you on, and you have a certain competency with it. I don't feel that as much with this material. My personal feeling is different people are going to get different stuff out of this class. And
that's okay.
I want them to have the idea that there's more to software than just writing their CS1 and CS2 programs. That testing and maintainability are very important. And then beyond that, if they're higher end students, they'll learn Ruby and Rails and get some familiarity. The other students will struggle with that stuff. I'm happy to help them as much as they need, because I have some students with not enough background, and I want them to have some sort of feeling well, look, if they've been listening to the lectures and sort of more or less doing the work, they should be able to do more or less okay on the quizzes. And I found, like you said, some of these ones online are a little bit too tricky.
Yeah.
And you could be really doing the work.
I would feel bad giving these quizzes to my students if I'm getting 80%.
Yeah. Well, and so a lot of the ones I think are even potentially debatable. So again, as we new instructors are sort of getting on board, we can share. I'm happy to share what I've come up with.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Can I say more about what my concern is?
Yeah.
So partly it's just that so one of my big concerns is that the online quizzes are tricky. Under the circumstances, even though I love my students, I'm afraid they would cheat because there is a systematic way to get the right answer.
Would you do them online or in class?
I think I would probably lean towards giving in-class exams because I've got the time in my schedule to do that.
Okay, so do that.
And then my other concern is that the homework assignments are a good way for students to show their Ruby and Rails and practical skills, but there doesn't seem to be the same kind of assessment of what they're learning about software development processes other than what's in the project. And not all of my students are going to be doing the project the same semester, so I want there to be some assessment of what they're learning about software development processes.
And what does that mean in terms of just more questions relate on that?
Well, in that I want the quizzes or exams to have some questions, maybe more questions about software engineering than about Ruby.
Good. And Sam has we have a little bit of a sort of a resource problem in that all our repository for the course was in this Google Sites area, and that's one of the things I think you saw in the email exchanges. If we're moving to this Agile Ventures, which has sort of similar functionality,
right?
Move that whole repository over there, where's our master place for these things? But for the time being, all the stuff is in the Google Sites, which I'm assuming you have access to.
Yeah, I have access to that. I was looking through that for things about tests or exams. I didn't find much.
Okay, Sam has, if you look somewhere, there's chapter quizzes and chapter questions.
Okay.
And I'll tell you something else that I do that I haven't been as good at sharing that I wanted is that what I do is I assign, watch this lecture at home.
Yep.
And then to prove that you watched it, or to give you some incentive to watch it, I give them these online quizzes that they have to complete before the due date, before class.
Yeah, I could see doing that. I often assign my students not a quiz per se, but like a reading journal.
Yeah, I would rather do either like a reading journal where they have to write, but right now I have 110 students.
Yeah.
So it's it's too much. Something that's graded automatically is worth my time. So, but those are also a set of questions. I think they're like analogous to the ones that Sam created.
Okay.
I have not shared them because it's not clear. I guess Armando and Dave had this Ruby kind of format for questions, but it wasn't clear that how much that was being worked on and whether I should take the time and trouble to do that. But at a moment's notice, I can always do like a printout and share that.
That could be useful. Yeah.
Keep that in mind if I don't remember and bring it up, and look again for Sam's questions because I'm pretty sure they were on the. I'll even might even go away.
Yeah, I looked for exam and test, but I didn't look for quiz, so I'll try that.
I'm fine. I'm looking at it now. Oh, maybe I should do. Let me do this so we're not seeing faces. Let me do a screen share, and I'll show you what I'm looking at now.
Oh, that would be great.
Okay, so what do I want to do? Do the whole. Let me do the screen if that works. So this, and so now we're seeing you, right? Let's get away from that.
Okay.
I'm back. Okay. So.
So right now I'm looking at the Google site.
Right, and do you see?
I just searched for quiz and I found a bunch of things.
Right, but look, it's like this whole category up on the left. Quizzes,
okay.
Right.
Apparently I should read before I search.
Yeah.
So let's see, where is that?
That is, under projects on that left-hand side.
Under projects on the left-hand side.
Right. I'm just closing everything down.
Ooh. Okay.
What website is this?
This is the.
There it is. Okay.
This is the original BetaSaaSers Google Sites site.
Got it.
And then over here, this is something Sam created, and I have, like I said, I have stuff analogous to this.
Can you show me your screen, Richard? Because I'm not finding it. I found projects, but
you're not seeing my screen. I thought you were.
No.
Okay. See, why isn't this stuff? So I did. Okay, let me try again. Screen share. Screen, and I click share. Oh, you know what? I know what I have to do. Then I have to do that. Then I got to move over. Now I bet you're seeing stuff.
No, I'm still seeing you.
Well, yeah, but when I'm hold on, don't. How about now? Not now.
Desktop. Yeah, you'll see the green arrow on your icon down below when you're sharing.
Okay. Let me try sharing mine.
I have the green. And you're not.
If you click it twice, it'll go away.
Okay, I'm going to try the damn thing yet again. I'm clicking. Ridiculous. I mean, I did this. Screen share, should I? Okay, let me do that.
Is it showing you a picture of your monitors?
How about that?
Hey.
I mean, that's a different thing, but okay. So now, tell me if I scroll through this.
Yeah, okay. Projects, quizzes. I do not see quizzes under projects.
Okay, so here's the deal. Are you logged in?
Oh, that's a good question. Do I log in on the home?
And the login,
sign in. Aha.
Right.
Okay.
And so
good call.
Sam, who is like the epitome of openness, may have himself even had second thoughts about making
quizzes public. That makes sense. And normally I would be signed in, but I think at some point I had signed out.
Yeah.
And okay, this is interesting. I'm still not seeing it.
I'm not seeing where to sign in.
It's at the very bottom in the footer.
No,
yeah,
no.
I know where to look for it, but it's not there. I'm having the same problem.
The sign-in link or the quizzes link?
The sign-in link. I'm not. Oh, wait a minute. Apparently, okay. Yeah, now I see it. I see quizzes.
I've clicked the sign-in link, but I'm not sure if I'm actually signed in or not because I'm still not seeing those quizzes.
Do you see the upper left here?
The upper.
So that'll show that you're signed in and you have like editing capability. Now, here's another thing. Do you have editing capability? Are you seeing?
No, I don't have editing capability. I wonder if I'm not actually.
Then the next thing would be. That whoever's in charge of this, which let's say it's Sam because he's in charge of everything, has to make sure that you are like on the approved like editing list for this. So maybe your account, maybe that's not linked to your account, but that's something that once we tell him that overnight, what is it? It's probably in the middle of the night for him, but in a few hours in the morning. If he has time, he'll just add you guys, and that'll be on there.
I just put that on my to-do list. Thank you.
Okay, and that's there, and you see what's there. Like he has something for every lecture, and then look, he has this 169.1 quiz. Just 2 questions. Okay. So who knows how comprehensive it is. Like I said, I tried to go with the really simple kinds of questions that should be easily, more easily answered if they've done the lectures. Those are especially for my online ones. And my in-paper class quizzes, my in-class paper quizzes are tiny bit tougher.
Yeah, I might ask you to share a PDF of those or something, even if it's too hard to put them online.
Yeah. And I use what system do you use for course management, or are you just going to go in the? Are you just using the Spock?
I think I'm just going to use the Spock for this class, but I also have access to Blackboard.
Okay, so we use Moodle, and so I use Moodle for like my quizzes and certain things, and I'm only using the Spock pretty much for the lectures and the homework submission.
Oh, I see.
Because I don't find the Spock functionality, I mean, Sam struggles with it. I think that's noble, but since I have this sort of secure Moodle system, I pretty much make that my home base. And
we'll see how bad edX is, but Blackboard's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Blackboard
might not be
really
worse.
bad.
Right. And Moodle, I'd say, is probably a little bit better, but. So that's where I've created my quizzes in the Moodle system, and it's pretty easy. So, however I could, I'll get them to you. I just chose some TAs, and I could also use, if they have time, I could also use some of their time to help do this stuff if there's interest. Good. Okay. Other questions?
I guess my other sort of general conversation topic was, Richard, and you and I had both said this whole flipped classroom thing. What do we do in class? It seems like some weeks that's easy. Like I can ask students to watch the lectures before class. I can ask students to walk through the chapter examples before class, and then have them come into class and work on the homework assignment with a partner, and that's easy. But it seems like there are some other topics, like the more software engineering type topics, that we might want to address in class, and they aren't really addressed in the homework.
So here's what I did, and this is off the top of my head. I would watch the lectures and make some notes of possible discussion topics or things that I wanted to elaborate or things where I wanted to disagree or give an alternative viewpoint. I also focused a little bit more on the plan and document kind of methodology because more where I came from. I mean, the way I think of doing software development is plan and document as much as possible. Start doing your thing, and like, continually monitor, and make changes when reasonable. So it's not like,
well, I think that, for them to understand that agile process model, it's very helpful for them to see the classic process models and understand them. And really, ultimately, what agile tried to do, or is trying to do, is bring to bear the best practices for the most part, of plan and document. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think it's important that they understand historically where all this comes from, and why it's important, and the different things that have been tried, and what things have worked, whether it's a classic methodology or the agile methodology, and which things have been shown to be problematic.
Yeah, and that's something that each of us, in our own way, from our own experience, and maybe some students in the class can talk about. The first time I taught the class, the first set of Berkeley lectures really didn't have much on the plan and document perspective or methodology. They have since added that. So that's
which is good for me, because I'm young enough that I grew up in the agile world.
Yeah, yeah. And so that's one thing. Definitely having them work on homework assignments. I did that a lot last semester, probably too much. I'll probably cut back. It made it easy for me because I didn't really have to prepare much. I just come in, do your work. My big problem, which I still don't have a good solution, is how to pair people up. And I have 55 students. I have a literally full classroom, in the sense that there are 56 seats in the classroom.
Right.
And it's not even easy. It's all squished in. It's like a classroom.
Yeah, this sounds familiar. I mean, I have a much smaller classroom, but it's all squished in. Okay. And it makes it very difficult to kind of, squeeze in and see what people are doing and work with them.
So the issue is how do I ensure that, and so when I said pair up with someone nearby and try and change, maybe about a quarter of the people, at most a third, did that, but willingly. But the rest of the people, I prefer to work alone. I did the assignment already, this and that. So my feeling is, if I want this to work, I would like to enforce it, but that means essentially coming up with a seating plan and dealing with people who come in late and all that, and I just don't know if I can pull it off.
Hey, I had an idea, and I don't know how well it's going to work, but I'm going to try it this semester. And that's, it occurred to me that some lab courses have used these lab notebooks, and basically what they look like is they look like sheets of graph paper, which is really handy if you're writing code and indenting. But the sheets are like, those carbonless papers where when you write it makes a copy?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And what I'm going to do this semester is, for every class, I'm going to have them kind of journal what they did, and in particular, who they paired with. Mm-hmm. And they're going to have to pair with different people until they've paired with everyone. Do you see what I'm saying? And they're going to write it down, rather than me impose it and try to play traffic cop with students.
Right, but that is going to be cool. Your classes are how big?
Yeah, see, I mean, in my case, it's not so bad, but in your case, you do have TAs, and if nothing else, I mean, see, at the end of the class, they get to keep a copy of their journal, but they get to tear one out and give it to you, because the pages are perforated, and it makes a carbon, all right? And I'm just thinking that maybe your TAs could just, keep a little record. But I mean, you don't have to be real complete. But if you see that someone's either not pairing or not pairing with the same, always pairing with the same person, you can dock points or something.
Right.
But I'm all for doing, trying to find a method that makes them do the work, rather than me have to be crazy coming up with programs and seating plans and all other kinds of craziness, and it kind of puts the onus on them if they come in late. All right, you come in late, now what are you going to do? You're going to have to figure something out, or you're going to lose points.
So you wait by the door for someone else to come in to partner with you, or you're out of luck.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, then they'll have some motivation to get to class on time and do it. And if they don't get to class on time and they don't do it, well then I guess they're going to lose some points. And that way it's not, you don't have to constantly hound them. Oh, do it, do it, do it. It's like, okay, you didn't. I see your journal here. There's no. I mean, if they have their signature and the signature of their partner every time they go to class, and I mean, I'm even thinking of having them note the times at which one is a pilot and when they swap. And again, if you see the sheet, you don't even have to peer too carefully. But if you see the sheet and it's got the two names and it's got the times they swap, you hopefully. They're actually doing what they're saying they're doing, and if you don't see it, well, then you can take the time to, go in and put something in their grade book. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does if you can pull it off. My experience.
In your case, you've got a huge class.
With that many people, it's really hard if I'm doing it the way that I'd want, is sort of like, well, this is what you need to do, and is that I haven't had good success with that, and I don't want to do something that sort of takes all my time and energy.
Exactly.
Again, with the TA's help, I mean, I'm going to sort of brainstorm with the TAs, and hopefully we can come up with something.
I think brainstorming with your TAs is a good idea. I know the nature of my challenge is entirely different because I have a tiny class compared to yours with just 20 students.
Oh, wow.
But I do have an unexpected challenge, which is that I may need to accommodate one student as a distance learner because a disability prevents her from traveling to campus this fall. And so I think I'm planning to work through how does the remote pair programming stuff work, and I'm going to actually, knowing that, I think I'm going to have to think about how the pair programming works differently so I can make sure that she doesn't get left out.
Okay.
Richard, do you know the program that Sam has his students use?
Can I respond to that?
I was trying to do that too.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
No, I mean, Sam has his students use a particular program, and they actually videotape their sessions.
Yeah, I was planning to look into that. I don't care if they videotape their sessions because they're going to do some of this in the classroom, and I trust them to do it outside of class. But if there's something that helps us make sure, if he has a tool that helps people find partners, that could be useful.
Yeah. I know he has that online site where people can sign up and say, hey, I'm looking for a partner. I don't know how realistic that is.
That might be, and if that's the whole internet, then that doesn't help me also.
Well, no, I mean, it's like, isn't it part of Slack, Richard?
I would leave it as, for Sam to, explain the methodology if that's used for that. Or Paul may know better because he does a lot of the pair stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we typically will do it on just Google, just like this.
So Google Hangouts?
Yep, and just share screen. But then also, and then that way, when you're swapping code, you know it's getting checked in.
So you commit and push when you swap partners.
Right. Exactly. You fork off whatever repo, and then that ensures that your pushes don't overwrite stuff. And then I'm not exactly how sure that would work. We usually work off project repos, not like a personal one, but I'm sure there's some way you could do it. Also, Cloud9 has like built-in collab, and they put out a new version lately, so it might be a little better to use.
So that might be worth looking at. Okay.
B9IO, yep. And then also, like Tmux is a popular screen sharing program, but it gives you actual command line access to the other computer. I'm not sure if they fixed or put security measures or they're available or not. But there's also like I think what is it? FluBits, FLO bits is another one, and then that is it's a plugin for a bunch of different IDEs, including Sublime.
Okay. Anyone have any experience with just straight X11? No, I guess that doesn't make sense.
I mean, Tmux is kind of similar to that.
Is it? Okay.
Now, and this is for the pairing stuff we're talking about.
Yes.
And I mentioned the obvious Google Hangouts?
Yes.
Okay, I assume that because that's all I tell my students to do. You know, like I will like start a hangout and say like, hey, I'm here, or the TA's here, or if you guys want to join in there, and then hook up with someone outside of class. It's very it has been attended like a couple of times during the semester. Most of the time they don't take advantage of it when they should. Okay, other questions?
The new Spock. I noticed that in the first week or so, there's a link for them to go to a little tutorial concerning getting familiar with Unix, Linux commands, that sort of thing. But when I go to the link, it only deals with PWD. And I wondered, is there a problem with the link, or is that the real link? Or it's confusing.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that, so I have no comment. I'll be doing that very, very soon.
Okay.
And these are things, we shouldn't hesitate to like just send emails to the list or whatever our thing is, because there's some things that are good like just to talk about face to face, but many of the things that we're talking about now are just as easily resolved, or even better resolved in email. I haven't been good about being responding to things because I've been on vacation mode, but that's going to change momentarily.
Sure. Hey, I sent questions to the Beta Engineering or the BetaSaaSers group last week, and I got bounced back saying that there was no such group, or that it was no longer there, or some goofy thing.
Yeah, you probably, I would just check.
It didn't help me with like, okay, was there an error in the email address, and then I kind of considered, are we sure that misspelling in the email address still isn't there?
Well,
because I spelled it correctly.
Okay, I am getting, all the communication. I've gotten about a dozen emails in the past couple of weeks, and I just copied it in there. So I would just make sure you're sending it to the right. Have you been getting all of like Sam's emails the last week or two?
I haven't been getting anything. In fact, I didn't get. I had to hunt around for the link here. People keep on sending my email apparently to what is now pretty much a defunct email address. So I'm looking for it in my regular email, and I'm not getting anything.
Right. So the way that I don't know. So that's something, again, if Sam, unless someone else here pops in like Paul, says they have access to it, that's another thing for Sam.
Okay, because I thought that this was my regular email, and I don't know how the other one got.
You're seeing what I'm typing in here, so this is where you can send it.
Long-lasting software, yeah, that's where I sent it. That's so weird. Unless I was having some kind of weird internet problem, which could be because.
Yeah, you might have. It's possible you might have. I mean, when you say you sent it there, darn it.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the email I sent. It looked fine. It looked like the address was correct, but it just got bounced back. So.
Yeah, so I think it may bear double checking.
Yeah, sure. Oh. Wasn't there another one? To come to think of it, I've sent stuff there and it's gotten there. I think it's the other one that I'm.
Yeah, well, clearly you're not on it if you're not getting the emails.
Yeah, but there's another. There's like a BetaSaaSers email.
There's an eSaaSers list. That's.
Oh, they changed the name.
Yeah, and you know, what can I say? I think I mean, all that stuff. You know, when you get access to it, you'll be able to probably look at the archives. But the difference between the two lists was explained in an email that Sam sent. I know I forwarded you something. I can't remember whether that was the one that I forwarded.
I know we discussed it, and as I said, the problem is I haven't been getting email. Would somebody just mind sending me an email to my correct email with copies of the emails that I should be getting things from?
Well, I mind, because there's like at least a dozen or so. I think the simplest thing, I mean, but if someone else wants to do it, that's fine. The simplest thing would be to get you on the list, and then you're going to be able to go in and see, you know, peruse through all the messages you may have missed. Because they're all, you know, because it's a Google group, so I'm sure they're like archived and stuff. So, and that you should be able to get that, like, you know, if Sam is, you know, present in a few hours, then that shouldn't be hard to get you on that. You know, I can look and see if I.
Yeah, well, I'm emailing him too, so.
Yeah. And I have it in this little agenda notes that he'll probably look at. Anything else while we are all here? For me, just for the record, next week my classes are 8 to 11 my Eastern time, and 2 to 5. So I can actually most weeks even do this current time. And even if Sam isn't around, I don't have as good facilities, but I think I'll be able to like do a hangout thing just before class, you know, in between my classes. And then as people get into their semesters, and then when Sam gets back, we'll figure out what's a good time, the best time for everyone, if it needs to.
Sounds good.
Next week I'll be in my office and won't get kicked out in the middle of the call by my terrible ISP.
Yeah. You know, I'm on my home stuff. My upload speed is real low, so that may affect, you know, what you see.
You know, my speed is great. I just get these dropouts in the middle of the day where it'll be out for, I'll be on for a couple of minutes and then out for 15.
This sounds familiar.
Yeah. We're getting I think we're going to get a new ISP next week because I've had enough.
Fantastic. Who are you with?
I'm with Comcast, and, you know, it's kind of this frustration because I find it suspicious that in the morning, you know, if I get on the computer at, you know, 6 or 7 a.m., I have beautiful, blinding fast internet till usually around 10 or so.
Right.
And then it becomes pretty much unusable until evening. So I'm a little suspicious that there's something going on in the neighborhood that's doing something to it. And we do have old equipment, but I don't really want to spend like a whole bunch of money buying, you know, new modems and routers and then discovering like, no, it's still terrible.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we're also spoiled. You know, I remember when I was, you know, happy to be able to achieve a 300 bit per second dial-up connection and like keep that going, but
of course the expectations were different then too.
Well, at this point, I'd be thrilled to have slow internet that just didn't kick me off for 20 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
But they're painting my office, so I had to vacate and head home.
Okay, so for me, I'll be getting into my Spock in a serious way, you know, probably sort of starting this afternoon, the next, you know, today or tomorrow, and I may like post questions on the list or make comments. So let's try and keep the email list active. And Rose, you'll get on it. I'll take a quick look and see if I have access to get you on. While we have here, what's the email address?
I'm at rosew@binghamton.edu.
Okay.
But apparently things are getting sent to an email that I no longer use.
Binghamton. Are you seeing what I'm typing? Is there P in there?
Hold on. Okay. RoseWB. .edu. That's it.
Okay, and I'll double check that. But if I can put you on, I don't think I have permission. But if I can, I'll add you. Otherwise, we'll wait for Sam.
Yeah, I'm looking at this email. The message I got has that beta engineering, long-lasting software. Let's see the exact. It's like they couldn't find it. The group you tried to contact may not exist, or you may not have permission to post messages.
Well, do you have? Can you? I'll see.
Yeah, I mean it's just weird because I'm sure I have permission to post messages.
Okay.
I have before.
Can you make that bigger at all, or can I make it bigger? I can't really.
Make what?
Or why don't you post it into the chat or something?
Oh, here. You know what? Here. Am I? Oh, okay. Let me just. You know what I can do? This is easy, actually. Great. It would be easy if I didn't just do something stupid. I'm going to just switch which monitor I'm using. So, screen share. Not screen share. And I'll go here. Start screen share. Right. And then.
Okay. See you, Janet and Janet Davis. And okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
You see this? Beta engineering, long-lasting software at googlegroups.com.
Can you paste it in the chat?
Yeah, I'll try to do that.
Oh, Janet left. Okay, Janet. Bye, Janet. Bye, Janet. Okay, so it's just me and you.
Sorry.
And you know what I'm gonna do? I will. Paul, is there anything else? I'm gonna just stop the broadcast because this is probably not.
Sounds good.
No one.
Bye, broadcast, and I'm gonna work with Rose for a minute.